Is the title a little bit has a little bit of a clickbait, man? Maybe a little bit, maybe a bit, but at the end of the day, man, it's just bad. It just looks bad. It really does. Um, Sorry for the spaz. I recorded a video that was like a 35-minute video of me just yelling in my car because of how bad that game went. But it's 12:30 right now. We're a bit removed from the game, and my thoughts are a little bit more tamed, but kind of still the same thing. Everybody watched this game. It was Thursday night, but quick recap. Texans start out with a pretty dominant run game in the first half. Although it didn't equate to many points, we still had like as good of a game on the ground as you could. Joe Mixon had 91 rushing yards at the half. So it's just, we were running the ball really well. This was a close game all the way up until about maybe 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. Defense played really good until they didn't. I had a lot to say about the offense, but the defense played okay. There were 14 points that Garrett Wilson just made extremely crazy plays, and I only hold the defense responsible for 14 points. You can't play defense for a perfect catch or a perfect throw. If Garrett Wilson's going to go and turn into prime D-Hop or like prime Odell, then that's going to happen, right? That's going to happen. Things like that they're going to happen. You're not just going to play defense on that. I guess you could, but there's no defense for like a perfect catch. So I only really hold the defense responsible for 14. They let off 21, should have let off 28, but I only hold them really responsible for 14 of them. The one thing I will point out on the defense, though, I think DeMeco is a great head coach, but I think some of the play he calls are questionable. Devontae Adams pretty much ices the game on a play in which Jalen Petrie was man-pressed on him. Jalen Petrie's been playing in the box really for most of this season, like he kind of did his first season. And there's just no reason why Derek Stingley's not on Devontae Adams. If you're going to get beat by Devontae Adams, you are going to get beat with your number one corner. What you're not going to do is have a guy that primarily plays middle linebacker at this point, one-on-one in man coverage, press man with no safety help on one of the best, used to be the best, but one of the best, let's say, route runners in all of football. That just shouldn't be what you do. But since it's a man call, it's not like it's zone and he just ended up to be in Jalen Petrie's zone. No, this was designed. This was a design play call, and this was the design, was to have Jalen Petrie play on Devontae Adams. I don't know what Derek Stingley was doing. I don't know if Derek Stingley was not on the field. If he's not on the field, he should be on the field. Because you're like, they're in the red zone. Don't let them score. It's a third down. Don't let them score. But Devontae Adams absolutely carves Petrie, which you would expect. I don't really blame Petrie because what the hell is he supposed to do? He doesn't play corner. Should have put one of your corners on him. Dumbass decision. Just like kind of everything that game. And then offense looked really bad. Kenyon Green looked like the worst left guard in all of football. Might be the worst O-lineman in football. But it took him to pretty much break something in order to get out of the lineup. I don't know who's responsible for starting him day in and day out. I don't know if that's DeMeco's call. Well, it's technically at the end of the day DeMeco's call, but I don't know if he was the one that was intentionally keeping Kenyon Green in or if it was Bobby Slowick that was doing it. But regardless, one of those people needs to be held responsible for it. Kenyon Green shouldn't have to get injured to get taken out of the game. I genuinely, as a Texans fan, thought Kendrick Green was injured. I thought he was injured. Because I was like, there's no way, really, like realistically, there's no way in hell that you continue to start Kenyon Green day in and day out over Kendrick Green, who we all know is a better player than him. There's no reason why it should have taken Kenyon Green to get hurt to put in Jaret Patterson. Or he didn't get hurt, they just benched him. But there's no reason why it should take Kenyon Green playing that bad to even think about taking him out. You should have taken him out a long time ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. There's no reason why he should have started this game ever. Even if Jaret Patterson was hurt, Kendrick Green should have started this game from the jump. 100% should have started this game from the jump. There's no reason why Kenyon Green should have ever played. There's no reason why Kenyon Green should ever play another snap in a Houston Texans uniform. Juice Scruggs is also not that good. Like, the offense just looked bad. CJ got sacked 8 times. And when he wasn't getting sacked 8 times, he was seeing ghosts out in MetLife like Sam Darnold because he was scared he was going to get hit every single play. The O-line's going to kill this guy one day. Like, eventually CJ Stroud's going to get killed behind this O-line. And he's scared that he's going to get hit every play. And he's missing throws at this point. There's going to be a lot of talk about the O-line, but CJ Stroud just missed throws. John Mechie was wide open to walk into the end zone, and CJ Stroud just missed the throw. There were a lot of throws that he just airmailed this game. And it's not because he's not accurate. It's because he's scared he's going to get hit every damn play. We don't need a Chiefs O-line. We just need an O-line that's not going to give up 10 sacks a game. We have one of the worst O-lines in football. And that's literally been the Texans' way ever since this franchise started. We've never really had a good O-line. We have a top left tackle in all of football, but our O-line sucks. We've never had a good O-line. And that continues to plague us even to this day. We got Deshaun Watson killed, and we're getting CJ Stroud killed. We've just never put an emphasis on signing free agent guards that are really going to impact the game. We've never, really put in draft capital to, I guess, O-linemen that are good, because we put a first-round pick into Kenyon Green, but he sucks ass. So it's bad. Offense was bad. CJ Stroud was airmailing throws. Offensive line couldn't block. And Bobby Slowick, another thing wrong with Bobby Slowick, he went away from the run game. We dominated the Jets on the ground. We could have single-handedly won this game by just handing the ball off to Joe Mixon. But we didn't. In the second half, we stopped running the ball. We can't say that it was because it was a close game. This game wasn't close till 6 minutes in the fourth quarter. But we stopped running well before that happened. This isn't just a matter of we were behind, so we had to start passing. No, we decided to stop running the ball. We didn't have to pass until 3-4 minutes left in the game when we were down 21-7. That's when we needed to start passing. We didn't need to start passing down 14-7. No need to. You could have just ran the ball and tied the game. But we stopped passing, or we stopped running well before that. Bobby Slowick, yet again, just really shows why he's not good. And to some extent, I'm very happy that he did this on a primetime stage. Because I've seen shows like Pat McAfee show talk about people that are going to get head coaching jobs next year. And they'll talk about Ben Johnson, and they'll put Bobby Slowick's name next to him. When in reality, they're talking about the Bobby Slowick of last year, but this is not the same guy. This isn't the same guy at all. He's not putting together good play designs. People aren't getting open down the field, and it's not because the receivers aren't good. You see John Mechie get separation. You see Robert Woods get separation. You see Tank Dell get separation when they have good routes to run. But I just don't think anybody in that offense is being put in positions to win. I don't think the offensive line is being put in positions to win because Laramie Tunsil and Shaq Mason, who I think are the only two people that might be okay on this team. Titus Howard, technically, but he's leaving a bad taste in my mouth because he got destroyed by Hassan Reddick today. The only two guys, or three guys, I guess, that might resemble a good O-lineman are having to consistently line up next to Juice Scruggs and Kenyon Green. This team can't be serious, and the O-line can't be put in positions to win because their coworkers are just ass. They're terrible. So obviously the O-line's going to look bad. The O-line's not put in position to win because they won't put in the damn backups that are better than the starters. CJ's not put in positions to win because CJ's getting sacked every single game, and the receivers aren't getting put in good positions because nobody's giving them good plays to run. Realize how Nico Collins never really ever scored a touchdown on the route that was designed for him. The route that was designed for him was a whatever route. And then he would always pull the Travis Kelce where CJ Stroud would just roll out the pocket because nothing's open. And then Nico Collins would just kind of find his way into the soft spot in the zone. That's not Bobby Slowick being good. That's Nico Collins being good. That's got nothing to do with Bobby Slowick. If Bobby Slowick really knew how to get people open, he would get them open in stride. But he doesn't. Nico Collins, 90% of his catches were all on the goal, or all on the sideline, rolling out to the same side as CJ Stroud because he's finding the soft spot in the zone. That's not Bobby Slowick. That's Nico Collins. Bobby Slowick has not been good a single time this year, and I think it's actually been insane. He led the third best passing offense last year, and then has proceeded to let off one of the worst passing offenses this year. And the crazy thing is he has a run game this year. You would think adding a run game to that offense would make it more dynamic. We've actually been more one-sided than we've ever been. When we can't run, we're not a good team, which is a far cry from the team that literally could not run to save their lives and only passed to win games. We suck. We're bad. I asked a question in my gigantic ass rant when I was in the car. How do you fix this team? Like, what are the serious fixes going forward if this season isn't like, because we're 6-3. We're in a position to still win the AFC South and make a playoff game. But as of right now, even if we make that playoff game, we're gonna get smoked in the wild card. So what's the path to fix this team? The first thing you have to do, assuming Kenyon Green's not out for the year, Kenyon Green needs to essentially not play for the rest of the year. Kenyon Green and Juice Scruggs need to be benched like now. They need to be benched. They need to have been benched yesterday. Whenever Jarrett Patterson comes back, because if Jarrett Patterson comes back, you kind of need to play Juice Scruggs. Whenever your O-line is healthy, I need my starting left guard to be Kendrick Green, and I need my starting center to be Jarrett Patterson. You don't have the luxury to be a bad team and to see what you have in the young guys. The young guys aren't good right now. They haven't put it on tape. They don't earn it. Juice Scruggs has not been good. Bench him. Kenyon Green hasn't been good. Bench him. You need to put your O-line in good positions to win, and we're not doing that right now. So that's just what it is. My bad, boys. I had to piss. But the other thing I would say you need to do if you're the Texans and you're serious about this season still, you need to fire Bobby Sloak. I mean, I know it's going to sound like an overreaction, but the guy really 8 weeks into the season hasn't put a good game of football on tape yet. The only time he scored more than 30 points was against the New England Patriots, and the New England Patriots are horrible at football. So he needs to get fired. I mean, there's no good way to say it. My boy's been off Galaxy gas like ever since the divisional game last year. He's just been huffing Galaxy gas for as long as he's been an offensive coordinator this season. The fall off that he's going to have is going to be insane because he just isn't going to have a head coaching job again. So he needs to be fired because he's not putting anybody in positions to win. Guy needs to get fired. Then you look at the defensive side of the ball. I think it's good. I think we're just not healthy on that side of the ball. And I think the reason why we lost is, again, because we're not healthy. We're one of the most injured teams in football, but we still should have won this game. I think the defense is going to look much better when it's healthy. I think with Will Anderson being out in that second half, you could really tell the difference between our offense or our defense in the first half and defense in the second half. We couldn't get to the quarterback as much because Will Anderson wasn't playing. He's the heartbeat of our defense. And our defense is going to look bad when he's not out there. So when you have Azeez Al-Shaair out, when you have Jimmy Ward out, when you have Will Anderson Jr. out, it's going to look bad. They're like three really big pieces of our defense. It's going to be a big deal. But, you know, the defense is something that I think is actually pretty good. I think it's pretty good. When this defense is healthy, it's going to be a good enough defensive, like a playoff caliber defense. It's going to be a Super Bowl caliber defense, in my opinion, especially with how Will Anderson was getting to that quarterback. But the offense just has problems, man. Like, Bobby Sloak has not put anybody in positions to succeed. Even when the O-line does block well, CJ has nowhere to throw it to because nobody's open. And it's not because our receivers are bad. This type of thing happened a lot, even in the first couple weeks, but we just all blamed it on the O-line because they sucked. But this has been happening all season, where CJ's been holding on to the ball because nothing's open. He's had to roll out so many more times than he did last season because nobody's open. Nothing's open. And I don't know if the word is just out on Bobby Sloak as an offensive coordinator at this point, but he's just not good. He's just not good. He's not putting anybody in positions to succeed. And I think it's showing. And I think it really shows against a defense that literally the last week let off 30 points to the Steelers offense. There's nothing more you got to say about the Steelers offense. They've been one of the most mediocre offenses since I've been able to hold a breath together. And that same defense held us to only 13 points, pretty much 10 because we scored 3 in garbage time. There's no fix really with the current personnel. We have to start benching people that aren't deserving of their jobs, which there are a couple. And you have to get rid of, you either have to sit Bobby Sloak down and say, listen, you need to figure your shit out, or you're going to hit the door, or just let him hit the door right now. Because it is absolutely inexcusable to have an offensive passing game that was sputtering already going into this game and continue to rely on that offensive passing game when your running back in Joe Mixon is playing the best football of his career and had 91 rushing yards in the first half alone. There's no reason to not have been absolutely mashing the ball down their throats with Joe Mixon the whole time. They did for one drive to lead off the second half, never did again. And it made no sense to me. You literally had the most productive drive you had in the whole second half, the first one, by just running the ball. They handed the ball off 5 times. I think CJ ran one time in a pass, but then he just scrambled. And then we ran it with Joe Mixon 4 more times. Made it to the red zone, lost the ball, whatever. But there's a reason why we didn't play we didn't have any good drives after that, because we never ran the ball. Bobby Sloag needs to figure out, really what the fuck he's doing. Because when he's not running the ball, it would be one thing if he was not running the ball and opting to just torch defenses, right? And he has all these crazy passes. Well, it's like he's not running, but he's passing. Like he has some crazy play designs. But in reality, it's just not the case. He's opting for a passing game that has nothing going for it and is like actively missing out on the one part of his team that actually is producing. When your offense is not passing the ball well, why do you continue to pass the ball with your offense, knowing that you have a dog in the backfield wearing number 28 that is top 3 in running backs right now? He's pretty much a top 3 running back this season, and we just don't hand him off the ball. He's pretty much got 100 yards every single time he's touched the ball. If he wasn't like injured, he would have been on pace for almost 2,000 rushing yards. That's just what he's been doing, and he's just not getting the opportunity to win us games like he did in the last couple weeks. When we don't have Joe Mixon, we don't have an offense, because the O-line can't block and the receivers aren't getting separation, and CJ Stroud's scared for his damn life that he's missing wide open throws. This offense looks bad, and we play the Detroit Lions next week. If we don't do something, this could be a turning point for the season. 6-3 is whatever. 6-4 is scary. 6-5 is horrible. We cannot go into this next week and just roll into it. We're playing the best team in football next week. Every single time we've come off a loss, I've held out hope. I'm like, okay, when you play bad, but you win, it's hard to look at yourself and be like, we sucked. But we did. The Texans have sucked in pretty much every game they've played, but they've won. So it's hard to really send the message that we need to fix something. But hopefully, getting embarrassed in this fashion, in prime time, in which everybody sees, is hopefully going to send the message into that building that, hey, something needs to change right now, because we are going to Detroit, or Detroit's coming to us in what potentially could be the biggest game of our season. And if we don't put up a fight, if we lose, that's one thing. If we get steamrolled and destroyed by the Lions, it's going to change the whole season for us. Fuck winning the AFC South. We're not going to do anything even if we make a playoff spot. So we need, and I mean we need, to put something out on the field next Sunday that is going to instill some hope in like the franchise again. Because if we go out there and play exactly like we did, if we go out there and have the exact same offense that we did today, season's going to be over. Season might not literally be over, but we're not going to do anything. The making it to our first AFC championship game, or making it to a Super Bowl, that hype is going to die. That hype's going to be dead in the water. We're going to have no chance of making it to anything past a wild card. And that's not what we were here for. I get we're injured, but we cannot play like that. It's just unfortunate as it is, but this type of stuff can't happen. I'm just going to regurgitate it again, but there are fixes that we need to make. If we don't make them, and if we don't, like, as a whole team, as the head coach, look at every single thing we've done in the mirror and be like, everything needs to change, we're dead in the water, man. That's really it. I don't really know what else to say. Horrible game. If this happens for a second straight week in a row, I think it's over.